This committee. At this point in time, we do not have a quorum, so any action that we take will be deemed to communicate from the chair. But before I start, and I don't even know why I'm saying this, but 2 days of the week I really, really look forward to. Fridays and Tuesdays. Fridays because every Friday, my 2.5-year-old grandson spends the night with me. And so if I have events, he goes with me. I bought him a little sport coat, and I love that quality time. Also, on Tuesday nights, we call that family night. And that's when all members of my family meet at my house for a family dinner, and sometimes it's potluck, or my wife will cook something, or I'll cook something, or whatever. And it's a very, very fun time. My sons are there, my grandkids are there, my mom, my step-dad, my brother and his daughter, cousins. So it's about 14, 15 of us. So we were together last night, and usually when we do this, we're laughing, we're joking. Some nights, come January, we'll have American Idol, and we'll watch American Idol and watch Dancing with the Stars, and there are Laker games on, and it's just kind of like a great madhouse. Except for yesterday, we watched CNN, and we were all glued to the television as we saw these men that had been trapped in a mine for 69 days, as we saw the beginning of the actual rescue. For 17 days, nobody knew if they were alive or not, and somehow they hung together and they survived. And when it was discovered that they were alive, the projection was, in order to rescue them, it would take until mid-December. And I mean, these guys, they gave them food, water, and they had video and what have you. But 69 days. And so if I'm a little punch drunk today, it's because I watched it all night and woke up first thing in the morning and watched it. You know, sometimes I'm extremely proud to be part of the human race. And yesterday was one of those days. And it amazed me how when they pulled these guys out of the mine, the pride that they had in their country. You know, even this morning, a guy comes out, he's got the Chilean flag, and he drops to his knees and he says a prayer. But it was just, they are some incredible human beings, and that NASA and people from all over the world would do what they could to make this rescue possible. It was just a magnificent feeling that I had, and to be able to share this with my family was, I mean, it was a great night, even though I did not get a chance to tease them and harass them. That is the way that I am and have been since I was a child. But it still was a very, very good, quiet night. And if you didn't see it, you missed something. And if you have an opportunity to watch some of the news as they show, you know, scenes from it, I think you will be a better human being for watching it, and you will really be proud to be a member of the human race. I know that I was. So why I said that, I don't have a clue. Okay, I was just so moved by it. And I'll say this, you guys, if you don't have family night, you need to do it. I'm going on 4 years of doing that, and it's one way to stay connected with your family. Okay, we've been joined by my friend and colleague, Richard Alarcon. So now, no, I already started. Once I got Nino to sit down, and that's when I got the official sign that I could begin. All right, we have several items that are on the consent calendar, and what we'll do, Anne Marie, if you could read item 1.
CRA report and joint resolution and CAO report relative to contracts for landscape architectural design services and construction related to city-owned street medians in the Western Slauson Recovery Redevelopment Project area.
Okay, then we will adopt the CAO report on that item, again as a communique from the chair, item 2.
CRA and CLA reports relative to authority to execute contracts on an as-needed basis with firms in the approved vendor pool for redevelopment plan adoption and amendment consulting services for 3 years with 2 one-year options to extend.
Okay, we'll adopt the CLA report on that item. Item 3.
CRA report relative to the Urban Land Institute Advisory Service Panel recommendations for the Clean Tech Corridor.
Okay, we'll note and file the CRA report on that. And it's my understanding that you're going to sing on item 4 and 8. Is that that's what you were telling me? You're gonna,
right.
You're going to, okay.
It's my
so I'm going to
debut before American Idol.
Yes, okay.
Item 4 is a CRA report and resolutions and CAO report relative to the disposition of a portion of CRA-owned land at 5867 South Los Angeles Street to the Figueroa Corridor CLT for the fair market value of $2.7 million with an agreement to manage and an option to repurchase for the purchose of creating public open space uses and amendment of an exclusive negotiating agreement. I hear you guys over there.
Now, what,
okay.
There's a tweak to this?
There is a tweak, and
what
that
might
is
that be?
the reference to Figueroa Corridor CLT. It should be Figueroa Corridor CLT and/or its wholly owned subsidiary, Slauson and Wall Park LLC.
Okay, then that will be the order. We've been joined by Ms. Perry, so we do have a quorum. And Mr. Alarcon, I don't think was overly impressed with your singing voice. Okay, item 5.
It's as good as it's going to get. Okay, item 5. CRA and CAO reports relative to a service repayment loan agreement with the Hollywood Community Housing Corporation for the rehabilitation, adaptive reuse, and operation of Orchard Gables Cottage located at 1277 Wilcox Avenue in the Hollywood Redevelopment Project area.
Okay, then on item 5, we'll adopt the CAO report.
Item 6, CRA report relative to fourth quarter year-end fiscal year 2009-10 financial status report for the period ending June 30th, 2010.
We will receive and file the CRA report on item 6. That brings us to item 7.
Communication from the mayor relative to the 37th program year of the Housing and Community Development Consolidated Plan, 4th year action plan.
Okay, we will receive and file the mayor's communication on that item. Now, this is another item where Anne Marie's going to sing, Mr. Alarcon. Yes, so Anne Marie, hit it.
Better than the last one.
Yeah, we're giving you, we're bringing you back for one more week. You know.
Oh, okay. Well, hopefully Neil will be back then, so he can get his. Okay, Community Development Department and CAO reports relative to authority to sell properties located at 12243 Blakely Avenue and 5510 South Manhattan Place that were acquired as a result of a foreclosure on defaulted community development block grant loans and authorization to perform activities related to the property sale. And the change on this...
On that, I was going to adopt the CAO report.
Right, with a quick...
But you're going to change it how?
I'm just going to do a quick amendment to recommendation number 1 to add the CAO and CDD will both report to council.
Okay, so that'll be the order. Item 9.
CAO report relative to a request to execute an exclusive right to negotiate a joint development agreement with Mercy Housing of California, MCH, and approval of a MCH proposal to develop affordable senior residential housing and replacement of public parking on a city-owned parking lot located at 8866 West Pico Boulevard.
Okay, then we will adopt the CAO report on that. That brings us to item 10.
Motion, Alarcon Cardenas, relative to establishing holding accounts, providing funding, and other actions to implement a pilot foreclosure prevention program in Council Districts 6 and 7.
Okay, we'll adopt that motion. Mr. City Attorney, I think we acted on the first three items as a communique from the chair. Now that we have a quorum, and if there are no objections with the member, well, I think it was just Ms. Perry at this point, then, yeah, that's why I said I think it was just Ms. Perry.
First four.
First four? She walked in on the fourth one.
She read them.
Oh, I heard her reading.
Yeah, we were good on the fourth.
Yeah, you're fine.
It's the three. So,
Fine.
Ms. Perry's fine, so on those three items, that will be approved by this committee without objection. Okay? Mr. City Attorney?
Yes, no objection, that's fine.
You sure now?
Absolutely.
We know you're new, we only see you every now and again. I want you to feel comfortable, I want you to feel the love.
He's beginning to feel uncomfortable.
I feel loved. I like to drop in and check up on you guys.
Okay. All right, that brings us, Anne-Marie, to item 11.
Correct. CRA and CLA reports relative to funding brownfield environmental remediation services by submitting 4 brownfield grant applications for up to $800,000 to the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency and approving matching CRA funds of up to $80,000 and related actions.
Okay, do we have... Okay, are you it?
I'm it.
You're it. Okay, welcome, and you can begin.
You messed it up, we're on a roll.
I'm Dan Weissman. I'm a senior civil engineer with Community Redevelopment Agency. I work on brownfields, basically. And every year, EPA puts out requests for proposals for brownfield grants. These are basically either investigation or cleanup grants to work to clean up contaminated properties.
Well, we bring you up here, and you're clearing the room. Everybody is leaving.
We should have had him first.
We should have had you first. Continue.
So CRA owns several contaminated properties, and for the ones on the list, actually for 2 of those, we will be going forward with the grants. That's for Block 27, which is in Wilmington. We're applying for a $200,000 cleanup grant to clean up petroleum-contaminated waste there.
How many of these grants have we received over the last few years? And how do you choose which areas that you want to apply for?
For the cleanup grants, we have to own the property. So when we do own contaminated properties and the timing is right and the eligibility is correct, there's certain stringent eligibility requirements. If all that comes together, we do go forward with applying for grants on them.
So about how many have we gotten?
I'm trying to think now. The CRA has one cleanup grant right now for a property in at 6300 Western. The City of Los Angeles, through the Department of Public Works, also applies for grants. They'll be applying for an investigation grant this year, and I believe they got 2 cleanup grants last year.
Okay, so now you keep saying cleanup grants. Are there other grants that relate to this?
There are investigation grants.
Yeah, because you said that. What is that?
That, in that case, you generally designate an area where you will get a $200,000 grant to look for properties to investigate. You don't need to own those properties, but generally you cover an area. And for this year, we are applying for, the city will be applying for a cleanup grant for Wilmington and for Pacoima. We've kind of put those 2 together and created kind of a double grant for $400,000. We haven't actually identified specific properties yet, but that comes later on when the grant comes through. We generally...
Which is Pacoima, you or Tony?
Yes. So, we generally do an area-wide survey in the designated areas for the grant, and then, based on that, we identify brownfields and then attempt to contact the owners of those brownfields and try to work with them to investigate them, and hopefully, ultimately, the goal will be to clean up and redevelop some of these properties.
And how long does the investigation process generally take?
It takes quite a few months. The grants are for 3 years. Typically, you start with like a phase one. That can take 1 to 2 months.
do you
Phase
do?
one is
What
a
do you
record
do?
search. You look at who the past owners were, what they did with the property, whether there's any regulatory efforts on the site, like they knew it was contaminated, did some work on it already, put that all together, and then a consultant generally will prepare the phase one and make a recommendation as to whether there needs to be additional investigation. That additional investigation is called a phase two, where you go in and you would actually drill for contamination to see if the potential contamination found in the phase one is actually there, based on drilling. If it does turn out, your actual samples turn out to be contaminated, then you move on to cleanup.
Okay, all right. Any other questions? Okay, then, without objection, we'll adopt the CLA report. Do we have any cards from the public? Anne Marie, is there any more business before this committee?
No, there's not.
Okay, then this committee is adjourned. Thank you very much.